Welcome back. Numbers 21, the bronze serpent. When the Canaanite, the king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that Israel was coming by the way of Atharim, he fought against Israel and took some of them captive. Then Israel made a vow to the Lord and said, if you will indeed give this people into our hands, then we will utterly destroy their towns. The Lord listened to the voice of Israel and handed over the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their towns. So the place was called Hormah. Hormah means destruction, Hebrew for destruction. I was reading some history about Canaan, and it talks about a time when all of a sudden their language and everything just was different. The people and the language and everything was just different. And it sounded like they were wiped out and started all over again. That's what it sounded like. Or that those lands were no longer, they were ruins, like there was nothing there in those lands anymore. Something like that. I'll share that with you another time. From Mount Hor, they set out by the way to the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. But the people became impatient on the way. The people spoke against God and against Moses. Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no food and no water, and we detest this miserable food. Then the Lord sent poisonous serpents among the people, and they bit the people so that many Israelites died. Wow. The people came to Moses and said, we have sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord to take away the serpents from us. So Moses prayed for the people. These people were attacked the whole way. Like it's not like they willingly wanted to do this. They did not. They did not. And they fought it every step of the way, it seems like. So Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said to Moses, make a poisonous serpent and set it on a pole, and everyone who is bitten shall look at it and live. So Moses made a serpent of bronze and put it on a pole. And whenever a serpent bit someone, that person would look at the serpent of bronze and live. Is that why they have that snake on a pole? The snake on you seen that? This? Where is that? Let's see this. That's a serpent on a pole. And it said if the people looked at it, then they would live after they got bit by the poisonous snake that they got bit by because they were cursing the Lord or speaking against the Lord. It's just ridiculous to me. After all the things they've seen, I don't know that I could have done that, complained like that, or I don't know. The journey to Moab, the Israelites set out and camped in Oboth. Man, did you guys see stuff like that all the time, every day? And that's why you didn't respect it? I don't know. I don't know. The Israelites set out and camped in Oboth. They set out from Oboth and camped at Lai Abarim in the wilderness bordering Moab toward the sunrise. From there, they set out and camped in the Wadi Zered. From there, they set out and camped on the other side of the Arnon, in the wilderness that extends from the boundary of the Amorites. For the Arnon is the boundary of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord. Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord, Wahib and Suphah and the Wadis, the Arnon and the slopes of the Wadis, that extend to the seat of Ar and lie among the border of Moab. From there they continued to Beer. That is the well of which the Lord said to Moses, gather the people together and I will give them water. Then Israel sang a song. Spring up, O well, sing to it, the well that the leaders sang, that the nobles of the people dug with the scepter, with the staff. From the wilderness of Matana, from Matana to Nahaliel, from Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth to the valley lying in the region of Moab by the top of Pisgah that overlooks the wasteland. King Sihon defeated. Then Israel sent messengers to King Sihon of the Amorites, saying, let me pass through your land. We will not turn aside into field or vineyard. We will not drink the water of any well. We will go by the king's highway until we have passed through your territory. But Sihon would not allow Israel to pass through his territory. Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel to the wilderness. He came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. Israel put him to the sword and took possession of his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok as far as the Ammonites. For the boundary of the Ammonites was strong. Israel took all these towns, and Israel settled in all the towns of the Amorites, and Heshbon and in its villages. For Heshbon was the city of King Sihon of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab and captured all his lands as far as the Arnon. Therefore, the ballad singers say, come to Heshbon, let it be built. Let the city of Sihon be established. For fire came out from Heshbon, flame from the city of Sihon. It devoured Ar of Moab, and swallowed up the heights of the Arnon. Woe to you, O Moab! You are undone, O people of Shemosh. He has made his sons fugitives and his daughters captives to an Amorite king, Sihon. So their posterity perished from Heshbon to Dibon, and we laid waste until fire spread to Medeba. Thus Israel settled in the land of the Amorites. Moses went to spy out Jazer, and they captured its villages and dispossessed the Amorites who were there. King Og defeated. When they turned and went up the road to Bashan, King Og of Bashan came out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. But the Lord said to Moses, do not be afraid of him, for I have given him into your hand, with all his people and all his land. You shall do to him as you did to King Sihon of the Amorites who ruled in Heshbon. So they killed him, his sons and all his people, until there was no survivor left, and they took possession of his land. Numbers 22. Balak summons Balaam to curse Israel. The Israelites set out and camped in the plains of Moab across the Jordan from Jericho. Now Balak, son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. Moab was in great dread of the people because they were so numerous. Moab was overcome with fear of the people of Israel. And Moab said to the elders of Midian, this horde will now lick up all that is around us, as an ox licks up the grass of the field. Now Balak, son of Zippor, was king of Moab at the time. He sent messengers to Balaam, son of Beor, at Pethor, which is on the Euphrates, in the land of Ammon, land of his kinsfolk, to summon him, saying, a people has come out of Egypt. They have spread over the face of the earth, and they have settled next to me. Come now, curse this people for me, since they are stronger than I. Perhaps I shall be able to defeat them and drive them from the land. For I know that whomever you bless is blessed, and whomever you curse is cursed. So the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the fees for divination in their hand. And they came to Balaam and gave him Balak's message. He said to them, stay here tonight, and I will bring back word to you, just as the Lord speaks to me. So the officials of Moab stayed with Balaam. God came to Balaam and said, Who are these men with you? Balaam said to God, King Balak, son of Zippor of Moab, has sent me this message. A people has come out of Egypt and has spread over the face of the earth. Now come, curse them for me. Perhaps I shall be able to fight against them and drive them out. God said to Balaam, you shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. So Balaam rose in the morning and said to the officials of Balak, go to your own land, for the Lord has refused to let me go with you. So the officials of Moab rose and went to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. Once again, Balak sent officials, more numerous and more distinguished than these. They came to Balaam and said to him, thus says Balak, son of Zippor, do not let anything hinder you from coming to me, for I will surely do you great honor, and whatever you say to me, I will do. Come, curse this people for me. But Balaam replied to the servants of Balak, although Balak were to give me his full house of silver and gold, that is considered a bribe, and I could not go beyond, that's not on there. I could not go beyond the command of the Lord my God to do less or more. You remain here as the others did, so that I may learn what more the Lord may say to me. That night, God came to Balaam and said to him, if the men have come to summon you, get up and go with them, but do only what I tell you to do. So he's going to be able to go with them, but he can only do what the Lord says. So Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the officials of Moab. Good thing they asked again, huh? They had to really, really want him to come. They had to really, really want it. Balaam, the donkey, and the angel. So clearly Balaam is a seer. Hold on. So I cannot go beyond the command of the Lord. So he told them, remain here as the others did, so that I may learn what more the Lord may say to me. That night, God came to Balaam and said to him, if the men have come to summon you, get up and go with them, but do only what I tell you to do. If the men have come to summon you, get up and go with them, but do only what I tell you to do. He got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the officials. God's anger was kindled because he was going, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the road as his adversary. Now he was riding on the donkey, and his two servants were with him. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. So the donkey turned off the road and went into the field. Balaam struck the donkey, and it turned back onto the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between the vineyards, with a wall on either side. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it scraped against the wall and scraped Balaam's foot against the wall. So he struck it again. Then the angel of the Lord went ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn either to the right or to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it lay down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he struck the donkey with his staff. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and it said to Balaam, what have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times? Balaam said to the donkey, because you have made a fool of me. I wish I had a sword in my hand. I would kill you right now. But the donkey said to Balaam, am I not your donkey, which you have ridden all your life to this day? Have I been in the habit of treating you this way? And he said, no. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his drawn sword in his hand. And he bowed down, falling on his face. I know that would scare the mess out of me. That would concern me greatly. The angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? I have come out as an adversary because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had not turned away from me, surely just now I would have killed you and let it live." Then Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned, for I did not know that you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now therefore, if it is displeasing to you, I will return home." Now the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, "Go with the men, but speak only what I tell you to speak." So Balaam went on with the officials of Balak. Wow, was that a test? That was definitely a test. It sounded like the Lord did not have to open that donkey's mouth for him to tell him anything. And it was like he already had the word from the Lord what to do. But gee, I don't know, man. I feel like aspects of this I would not be confused, I feel. But that's easy to say when you're not in that situation, right? When Balak heard that Balaam had come, he went out to meet him at Moab, on the boundary formed by the Arnon at the farthest point of the boundary. Balak said to Balaam, "Did I not send to summon you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not able to honor you?" Balaam said to Balak, "I have come to you now, but do I have power to say just anything? The word God puts in my mouth, that is what I must say." Then Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kirath Huzoth. Balak sacrificed oxen and sheep and sent them to Balaam and to the officials who were with him. Balaam's first oracle. On the next day, Balak took Balaam and brought him up to Bamoth Baal, and from there he could see part of the people of Israel. He could see them from Bamoth Baal. Then Balaam said to Balak, "Build me 7 altars here and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me." Balak did as Balaam had said, and Balak and Balaam offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, "Stay here beside your burnt offerings while I go aside. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet me. Whatever he shows me, I will tell you." And he went to a bare height. Then God met Balaam, and Balaam said to him, "I have arranged the 7 altars and have offered a bull and a ram on each altar." The Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, "Return to Balak, and this is what you must say." So he returned to Balak, who was standing beside his burnt offerings with all the officials of Moab. Then Balaam uttered his oracle, saying, "Balak has brought me from Aram, the king of Moab, from the eastern mountains. Come curse Jacob for me. Come denounce Israel." How can I curse whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce those whom the Lord has not denounced? For from the top of the crags, I see him. From the hills I behold him. Here is a people living alone and not reckoning itself among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob, the dust cloud of Israel? Let me die the death of the upright, and let my end be like his. Then Balak said to Balaam, "What have you done to me? I brought you to curse my enemies, but now you have done nothing but bless them." He answered, "Must I not take care to say what the Lord puts into my mouth?" Balaam's second oracle. So Balak said to him, "Come with me to another place from which you may see them. You shall see only part of them, and shall not see them all. Then curse them for me from there." So he took him to the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah. He built 7 altars and offered a bull and ram on each altar. Balaam said to Balak, stand here beside your burnt offerings while I meet the Lord over there. The Lord met Balaam, put a word into his mouth, and said, return to Balak, and this is what you shall say. When he came to him, he was standing beside his burnt offerings with the officials of Moab. Balak said to him, what has the Lord said? Then Balaam uttered his oracle, saying, rise, Balak, and hear. Listen to me, O son of Zippor. God is not a human being, that he should lie, or a mortal, that he should change his mind. Has he promised, and will he not do it? Has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it? See, I received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot revoke it. He has not beheld misfortune in Jacob, nor has he seen trouble in Israel. The Lord their God is with them, acclaimed as a king among them. God who brings them out of Egypt is like the horns of a wild ox for them. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, no divination against Israel. Now it shall be said of Jacob and Israel, see what God has done. Look at people rising up like a lioness. Look, a people rising up like a lioness and rousing itself like a lion. It does not lie down until it has eaten the prey and drunk the blood of the slain. Then Balak said to Balaam, do not curse them at all, and do not bless them at all. But Balaam answered Balak, did I not tell you, whatever the Lord says, that is what I must do. So Balak said to Balaam, come now, I will take you to another place. Perhaps it will please God that you may curse them for me from there. So Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor, which overlooks the wasteland. Balaam said to Balak, build me 7 altars here, and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me. So Balak did as Balaam had said, and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Numbers 24, Balaam's third oracle. Now Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, so he did not go, as at other times, to look for omens, but set his face toward the wilderness. Balaam looked up and saw Israel camping tribe by tribe. Then the Spirit of God came upon him, and he uttered his oracle, saying, the oracle of Balaam, son of Beor, the oracle of the man whose eye is clear, the oracle of one who hears the words of God, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down, but with eyes uncovered. How fair are your tenants, O Jacob, your encampments? How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your encampments, O Israel? Like palm groves that stretch far away, like gardens beside a river, like aloes that the Lord has planted, like cedar trees beside the waters. Water shall flow from his buckets, and his seed shall have abundant water. His king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God who brings him out of Egypt is like the horns of a wild ox for him. He shall devour the nations that are his foes and break their bones. He shall strike with his arrows. He crouched, he lay down like a lion, and like a lioness, who will rouse him up. Blessed is everyone who blesses you, and cursed is everyone who curses you. Blessed is everyone who blesses you, and cursed is everyone who curses you. Then Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he struck his hands together. Probably harder than that. Balak said to Balaam, I summoned you to curse my enemies, but instead you have blessed them these 3 times. Now be off with you. Go home. I said I will reward you richly, but the Lord has denied you any reward. And Balaam said to Balak, did I not tell your messengers whom you sent to me? If Balak should give me his house full of silver and gold, I would not be able to go beyond the word of the Lord to do either good or bad of my own will. What the Lord says, that is what I will say. So now I'm going to my people. Let me advise you what this people will do to your people in days to come. Oh no. He didn't ask you for that, Balaam. Balaam's fourth oracle. So he uttered his oracle, saying, the oracle of Balaam, son of Beor, the oracle of the man whose eye is clear, or closed or open. Eyes. Okay. The oracle of one who hears the words of God and knows the knowledge of the Most High, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down, but with his eyes uncovered. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. It shall crush the borderlands of Moab and the territory of all the Shethites. Edom will become a possession, Seir a possession of its enemies, while Israel does valiantly. One out of Jacob shall rule and destroy the survivors of Ur. Then he took on Amalek and uttered his oracle, saying, first among the nations was Amalek, but its end is to perish forever. Then he looked on the Kenite and uttered his oracle, saying, enduring is your dwelling place, and your nest is set in a rock. Yet Cain is destined for burning. How long shall Asher take you away captive? Again he uttered his oracle, saying, alas, who shall live when God does this? But ships shall come from Kittim, and shall afflict Asher and Eber, and he shall perish forever. Then Balaam got up and went back to his place, and Balak also went his way. This is the last chapter in this video. Numbers 25, worship of Baal of Peor. While Israel was staying in Shittim, the people began to have sexual relations with the women of Moab. These invited the people to the sacrifices of their gods, and the people ate and bowed down to their gods. Thus Israel yoked itself to the Baal of Peor, and the Lord's anger was kindled against Israel. The Lord said to Moses, take all the chiefs of the people and impale them in the sun before the Lord, in order that the fierce anger of the Lord may turn away from Israel. And Moses said to the judges of Israel, each of you shall kill any of your people who have yoked themselves to the Baal of Peor. I had read, it was like a Wikipedia summary or something, but it had tried to group all these other gods with the Lord. It's clear in the Old Testament that none of that crap is associated with it. None of it. And it's just something that they keep doing. It's something that they keep raising altars to and raising high places to, and they keep doing that. They keep worshiping other gods they make with their hands, or they make out of stone and things like that. None of that was associated with the Lord. You know, he's telling them not to do it. Just then, one of the Israelites came and brought a Midianite woman into his family, in the sight of Moses and in the sight of the whole congregation of the Israelites, while they were weeping at the entrance of the tent of meeting. When Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he got up and left the congregation. Taking a spear in his hand, he went after the Israelite man into the tent and pierced the two of them, the Israelite and the woman, through the belly. So the plague was stopped among the people of Israel. Nevertheless, those that died by the plague were 24,000. So they started worshiping other gods and got inflicted by another plague. 24,000 of them fell. So it just feels like Numbers is more about the amount of people that fell as a result of committing sin, right? It started out with the numbers of how many people were in those companies, right? And now it's talking about the numbers of people that died by the plague. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, has turned back my wrath from the Israelites by manifesting such zeal among them on my behalf that in my jealousy I did not consume the Israelites. Therefore say, I hereby grant him my covenant of peace. It shall be for him and for his descendants after him a covenant of perpetual priesthood, because he was zealous for his God and made atonement for the Israelites. Oh, because he went and dispatched those two people. He was a priest. Okay. The name of the slain Israelite man who was killed with the Midianite woman was Zimri, son of Salu, head of an ancestral house belonging to the Simeonites. The name of the Midianite woman who was killed was Cosbi, daughter of Zer, who was the head of a clan, an ancestral house in Midian. The Lord said to Moses, harass the Midianites and defeat them, for they have harassed you by the
containing numerous allegedly magical spells used to summon spirits to do the will of
Alexa, turn off. What that was about. The Lord said to Moses, harass the Midianites and defeat them, for they have harassed you by the trickery with which they deceived you in the affair of Peor and in the affair of Cosbi, the daughter of a leader of Midian, their sister. She was killed on the day of the plague that resulted from Peor. Oh. Harass the Midianites and defeat them, for they have harassed you by the trickery with which they deceived you in the affair of Peor and in the affair of Cosbi. So you think that was like a plant or something? Hmm. Sorry, I'm just looking at that. All right, I'm satisfied. That's the end of this video. Our next video will be numbers 26 through 30. 26 through 30. So one more video after this one in the series for numbers, and I will see you in the next video.